I still remember attending Zoholics in Austin in 2019, just before the epidemic hit. Zoho CEO got on stage and presented this idea called Zoho One. And the way he described it, it sounded like a dream. A single platform with dozens of business applications that share data natively. A unified security and permission systems across those applications. The ability to activate applications with a click of a button and assign users across multiple apps. Again, with a click of a button. Back then, when a client asked me to connect two systems, it was almost always a few $100, sometimes few thousands, and it was tedious work. It was crappy work for me and super expensive for the client. A lose-lose proposition. So when I heard that vision on stage, I thought if this is becoming real, it will change completely the small and mid-sized business market. And when the CEO came down from the stage, I actually went to him and I asked him directly, is this real? Is this really going to happen? And he said yes. He explained to me the vision and he said that this is the new direction. And today when I look at Zoho One, I feel like every year we see more and more of this vision becoming reality. In this episode, I want to explain the real problem Zoho One solves, not by listing applications, we'll do that later, but by showing the pain points that push companies to Zoho One and why businesses actually choose it and how Zoho position it as a solution. Currently, there are over 130 million users in the system, so for sure they are doing something right. We are going to talk about fragmentation and how this connected system work. We'll talk about the money side, not only the license, but also the customization. And we are also going to talk about privacy, security, and control, including why companies care about where their data lives and who can access it. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why Zoho One became such a big shift for small and mid-sized businesses, and why so many companies see it as a business operating solution instead of just another application. Now, quick context so you know where you are. This is episode 1 of a 4-episode series about Zoho apps, where Zoho One is a subset of this ecosystem. And the way this series is built is super simple. Episode 1 is the why, the pain points, the business cases, and the positioning. Episode 2 will be about the application themselves, about the sales and marketing and how all that works together. Episode 3 will be more about operations and finance applications. And episode 4 will cover the rest of the Zoho applications, collaborations, analytics, security, and more. If you would like to test Zoho with the same capabilities and price that I am showing you here, feel free to try this version of Zoho One. It is a 30 days free trial version, no credit card required, and you will be able to try all the applications we are talking about in those 4-episode series. You can download it using the link in the description below or just scan the QR code on screen. And if you already have a Zoho license and are looking for a Zoho partner to help you implement, customize, or optimize your system, we're here for you. Very quick intro in case this is the first video you see from me. My name is Lior. I'm a business automation specialist and the founder of Amazing Business Results. We're a premium Zoho partner with offices in the US, Canada, and Europe, supporting small and mid-sized businesses since 2013, and we currently hold the most 5-star reviews in the Zoho world. Okay, so we'll start with one question. Why do companies choose Zoho One? So let's talk about the real problem Zoho One solves, and this is fragmentation. And the cost of fragmentation is bigger than most companies realize. It happened over time. They add a CRM system, they add an accounting system, then a project management system, then maybe marketing platform, maybe an e-signature as well. And on paper, they call it an integrated system, but in reality, those are multiple applications being stitched by Zapier, N8N, and other applications. Now, I don't have anything against Zapier. It's a fantastic system when it works. And those connectors, they have the tendency to break. And when they break, no one knows when. So suddenly you see that you're missing a lead, missing an invoice, missing a deal, the project was not created. When customers start following up, and asking what's going on with my deal, only then the business understands that something is wrong, and then they need to check the logs and start to investigate, hire a developer. I personally don't like it. I prefer to have direct integration, or better, like Zoho One, native integration. Super, super important. When the applications are natively connected, they know how to work together out of the box, and it's much easier to maintain. It always works, and there are no problems with it. Also, by the way, you're saving tons of money, because the Zapier and such applications will cost per transaction. So every time that something happens, you're paying for it. Let me give you a real example that we've seen more than once. A company had multiple applications stitched with connectors like Zapier. In the beginning it worked, everything was fine, and then suddenly it started to have small holes and it didn't work properly. So they paid more and more money to integrators to fix those small integrations. Over time, there were more and more holes, and the integrator charged more and more, so eventually they just stopped paying. One of the employees in the company, the IT guy, instead of doing his work, now the IT guy is going every morning to Zapier, N8N, and other applications, checking the logs and seeing why this is not working. And the records that are not being pushed automatically based on the integration, it would take them and copy paste into different applications. So he's becoming the human integration, the stitching everything. And you can imagine what that creates. Delays, human errors, missed handoffs, duplicated records. And the worst part is that the business doesn't even realize how much revenue is leaked because it looks like operations. Now, compare that to a native built-in integration. When you connect something like Zoho CRM with Zoho Books, it's not a patch, it's designed to work together. You're not relying on a third-party connector as a middleman. The data flows between the systems natively. You reduce duplication, you reduce which system is the one with the real data, and the cost of that connection is effectively nothing compared to the ongoing cost of maintaining patches. And that's what I mean when I say fragmentation isn't just annoying. It becomes expensive, fragile, and slow. And it quietly turns your business into a manual coordination machine. Now, pay number 2 is the one that most small businesses and medium-sized businesses talk about, and this is the price. A lot of companies want enterprise-level capabilities, but they can't afford to run 10 separate enterprise subscriptions. So they compromise. They keep one expensive tool and everything else becomes manual. And that's what slows the business down. When a company cannot afford the full stack, they cannot automate properly, they cannot measure properly, they cannot move fast. And in a competitive market like we have now, speed wins, especially for small and mid-sized businesses. In the US, Zoho One all-employee plan is advertised at $37 per month per user. And if you go with a monthly subscription, it's $45 a month. And for that price, you're getting over 50 business applications all in enterprise level grade. Now, I also want to be transparent. Zoho has multiple license options and bundles, and the right fit depends on your situation, your team size, your departments, and how you plan to roll it out. So if you're trying to understand those different licenses and pricing, feel free to contact me. I am happy to jump on a quick call with you, walk you through the different options, and help you choose the right direction. And I don't charge for those meetings. Now, pricing is another layer that most people don't understand until they live through it. Customization is expensive, and I want to tell you a personal story. Years ago, when I had an appliance repair company, I contacted Salesforce. I asked them a lot of questions. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can it handle this workflow? Can it support this type of process? And the answer was yes to everything. I was super impressed. And then, when we were about to buy the license, I asked the salesperson to send me an email confirmation that everything we discussed will be working once I'm buying the license. And the salesperson told me something interesting. He said, it's not that Salesforce will give you those things. Those things are possible in the platform, but you will need to have a partner to build it with. So I contacted partners, and the estimate I got were a few $100,000 for the services to reach the level of customization I needed for my business. And that was obviously a no-go for a small business. Now, I want to be very clear. Salesforce is fantastic, but it's fantastic for enterprise big boys companies. It's not for small and mid-sized businesses. Now, on the other side, when I worked with Zoho, in a few weeks, I was able to get an MVP, a minimum viable product, and I was able to start running. Now, I don't want you to walk away thinking Zoho out of the box can do everything you want. That's a lie. Sometimes you will need partners like us. That's the reality. But after doing this for about 12 years, I can tell you that what you should expect in many cases is roughly about a fifth of the cost compared to Salesforce and the other big boys platforms. Not just in licenses, but in the total journey. Now, pain point number 3 will be trust and privacy. Let me tell you a story from last year. We had a customer using a big CRM platform, I won't mention the name. They wanted one feature that wasn't available out of the box. So to test it properly, I created a trial account in this CRM, and I didn't use a real company. I used a fake company that doesn't exist. Okay, no website, no LinkedIn, no database, nothing. It was only existed inside the CRM trial. And the moment I registered, I started receiving emails from different vendors about this test company, from companies I never contacted. And that's when it hits me. The only way those vendors could have known is if the information was sold to them the moment I created the account. So when business owners say data privacy, they're not talking about theory, they're asking a real question. Is my customer data, which is the most important, this is your IP, the most important thing, is it safe? Is it private? Is it accessible only by me, or other companies are going to share what I built for many years? Now let's talk about Zoho. Zoho positions itself very differently here. They publicly state they do not sell customer information, and they are committed to protecting customer data. And for many companies, this is not just a nice statement, that's a decision-making factor, because your CRM isn't just software, it's your customer relationships, your revenue, your market intelligence, and tied to that is a security and data residency. More and more companies want better security controls, they want clear governance, and many want their servers to be in their own country or in a place that they choose so. For example, if I will be in Canada and I will have a server in the US, the US basically owns my data, even though I'm a Canadian citizen. So if I'm a Canadian and I have a Canadian business, I will probably want my data and my servers to be in my own country so other countries cannot seize the information. Now, pain point number 4 is overlooked, but it's huge. Administrative control with minimal training, it's a big point. Some platforms require weeks or months just to understand the basics of how to administer the system. But whenever you are using, let's say, software like Zoho, it takes few days to understand how to administer the system. The administration can be much more approachable, and it's really not that difficult. I have probably about 30,000 students so far that are learning Zoho, and I can tell you that the majority of them are able to administer the system no problem. Create users, assign applications, add fields, customize screen, create basic workflows. All that can be done, and it's not really difficult. So here's the close. Zoho One doesn't win because it has over 50 business applications. It wins when it replaces fragmentations and make enterprise level capabilities affordable enough that growing companies can actually compete. In the next episode, we'll map the sales and marketing side of the Zoho ecosystem, not as a feature, but as a revenue flow. So you can see how Zoho is meant to work when it's designed as a system. If this episode was useful to you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so you don't miss another episode. We are releasing one episode every 3 days, and each episode builds on the previous one. I will see you in episode number 2.